What happened after decision day? After decision day, which was the 24th of November, the cameras went away. We were allowed to go back to reality and live our lives however we wanted to. The lease on the shared accommodation was up, so we went back to our own houses to live essentially as boyfriend and girlfriend. I was really sad as we packed our things, as it felt like a breakup moving out, but things actually improved so much being in our own environments. We would date, Ben would phone me every day, and given that we lived very close to each other, we would have sleepovers. As Ben was having a new kitchen done, we went to have it designed together, as he said I would eventually move in there too. So he wanted to make sure that the house had my stamp on it. He even had the documents addressed to Mr. and Mrs. Jardine. He said that once the kitchen was done, he would want me to design the master bedroom next so I could move in. We anticipated it would be in around 6 months to a year, and he even said that he would at some point buy me an engagement ring and propose properly. And then we could have a blessing off camera and go on honeymoon to Hawaii. Life together became so normal. One day, we were saying goodbye at the train station after a date, and he stood in front of me. He held me and kissed me, and then he looked me directly in the eye and said, "Take care, and I love you." I was so taken aback, I didn't even respond, and then he went to catch his train and I went to catch mine. Ben had to have an operation on his left hand, so I took time off work to look after him. Though he's actually said since then that that's one of the reasons he didn't dump me sooner, but thanks for that. The day he went into surgery, I was due to call him before he went under, but when I woke up that morning, I had a message from him saying that they'd taken him down early. I had a little panic to myself about what would happen if he didn't wake up, and I went to the hospital to wait for him to come around. Waiting and worrying made me realise that I had actually fallen in love with him too. So I looked after him after his operation, cleaned for him, sorted his washing out, I cooked for him, sorted out his medication. I even helped him get dressed. And once his cast came off, I would clean the dead skin off his hand, which was gross. But you do that for things like that for people you care about. We spent Christmas Eve with my family and Christmas Day with his. But New Year's I had to work. We were a real couple, not just for TV. In the end of January, the cameras came back for a day to film the catch-up filming. We never saw each other's interviews until it was on TV, so I was really choked up watching this and hearing him saying that within the next 5 years he wanted us to have a family. And I remembered back to that night after the filming. We had stayed up for hours at his house and at one point sat down to have a really serious conversation about where this was going. He had said to me that night that I would make an amazing mum, and if he found out the next day that I was pregnant, then he would be the happiest man alive. That memory really hurts me now, because I've been told by one of his friends since that the girl he got pregnant had conceived around this time. I believe that is why in recent articles about us it claimed that we split up mid-December. I may be wrong, but I suspect that it was a very calculated move to tell the press this, so that it looked like it was conceived after we broke up. But if he thinks the general public was stupid enough to fool that, then he's deluded. Our appearance on This Morning was filmed live on the 15th of February. We weren't wearing our wedding rings because the show was due to air and we weren't supposed to spoil the ending. But I'm pretty sure that from our body language, it was quite obvious we were still together. What no one seemed to spot was that I actually was wearing my wedding ring, just not on my finger. It was on my bracelet that Ben had bought me as a wedding gift, and I'll upload a photograph of us later that day having a belated Valentine's lunch, where you can see I'm wearing the ring on my finger again.